Welcome everybody. My name's Tony. Here on my right is Ian, and here on my left is Robert. Who are we? We are three English commentators for the Pro League here in the UAE. Why are we putting this show together? Well, here in the UAE, 80% of the population speak English. And would you believe it, there is no English-speaking show about football here in the UAE. And I know that a lot of people want to know what's happening, but they want to know in English. So what this show is going to do, each and every week, it's going to give you a synopsis or a preview of what's happening in the week coming up. And it'll also tell you what happened in the games that took place the week before. We're going to give you a little bit of a synopsis, predictions, and not only that, we'll give you a little bit of gossip, tidbit information about who's playing well, who's not playing well, who's injured, who's leaving, who's left. So first of all, we're going to look at the games that took place yesterday. And the first game that we're going to look at is the game between Fujairah and Al Ain. Yesterday, Fujairah at home at the Fujairah Stadium played Al Ain, and I actually commentated on that game. The favourites on paper, Al Ain. Let me tell you first of all, Al Ain are one of the best teams here in the UAE. They're the most successful team here in the UAE. I would say the most famous as well. But to be honest, Fujairah should have won that game. It was 1-1, but Fujairah had more chances, the better opportunities, and they scored early on. However, in the second half, Al Ain came back and scored in the 86th minute to make it 1-1. Okay, that's my little bit of a synopsis on that game. I'm going to move on to Ian now, who's going to give us a breakdown of what happened yesterday with Sharjah versus Al Dhafra. Ian.
Lovely, thank you, Tony. Sharjah's owner, Sheikh Sultan III, will be hoping Sharjah add to their 6th league title after brushing aside Al Dhafra 5-0 yesterday. The Kings, managed by Sharjah legend Abdulaziz Mohammed, are already looking like championship material after 4 straight wins. Wellington, their €1.5 million signing, scored a hat-trick which brushed away Al Dhafra. Al Dhafra could not cope with his pace, his strength and his link-up play with the other strikers and the midfielders. He was the difference. Without him, Al Dhafra may have had a chance, and they didn't. He just took the game away from them straight away. So after 4 games, Sharjah 4 from 4 and looking like the championship material already.
All right, thank you very much, Ian. That was a nice little bit of a breakdown of what happened yesterday, and I have to say, Ian, I've seen Wellington play, and he looks a top player. I think he will make the difference for Sharjah.
I think he's going to be one of the top players in the league, if not the Golden Boot.
Watch out for that player. Wellington plays for Sharjah. Okay, let's move on to our next match that took place yesterday, and Robert's going to give us a breakdown on a little bit of a synopsis on Al Nassr versus Ajman. So what happened there, Robert?
So Al Nassr, being one of the more, probably the oldest team in UAE, they took on Ajman yesterday, and not really much happened in the first half. It was very kind of, both teams were in first gear.
A little bit cagey,
a little bit scatty here and there, and then I think it was more when it came into the second half. I don't know what happened in the changing room, but there must have been a bit of a staunch telling off going on, and it wasn't until like the 58th minute in the second half that's when we saw the first goal, and that was the first goal by Toze, and he was just pretty, lovely goal to the back of the net and unstoppable, and that led on to the second and the third. So hat-trick by Toze, amazing. It was just a really good. It wasn't. I didn't predict it. I thought Ajman would have come back after the first goal. They just didn't, and they just didn't play well. They just didn't seem to be comfortable on the pitch.
Ajman are struggling.
They seem to be struggling right now.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Robert. Okay, let's go into the last game that took place yesterday, and that's Banyas versus Al Jazeera, and what a cracking game. This is a local derby. Both teams are from Abu Dhabi, and the informed team at the moment is Banyas. They've won all their matches. They look fantastic, but surprise, surprise, they were beaten by Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera have been struggling, but Al Jazeera are the richest team in the Pro League. and they should do better than they have. They have won the league before, but they finally started scoring goals. They've been struggling scoring goals, and their top goal scorer, Ali Mabkut, who is from the UAE, he's been a fantastic player. You could say he's the Alan Shearer of the UAE. He managed to get 2 goals. He got off the mark yesterday, and he scored 2 goals. And their new signing, a young 19-year-old from Nigeria, Imo Ezekiel, he making his debut scored a goal. And that was the surprise win yesterday. Al Jazeera, who are a team that they've been struggling against a team who are in cracking form at the moment, Banyas. And the goal scorer again, João Pedro. He's been a fantastic signing for Banyas. But the score was Banyas 1, Al Jazeera 3. Okay, let's look at a preview of what's happening tomorrow. We have 3 games that are taking place tomorrow. So I'm going to move back to Ian, because Ian is going to give us a breakdown on Calba versus Al Wasl.
Okay, I think
to you.
it's going to be a tough one tomorrow for Calba. Calba are struggling. You know, they're relatively new to the Pro League, having played a lot of their football in Division 1. It's going to be very, very tough for Calba. If I had to go one way or the other, Al Wasl 2-0.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Okay, thank you, Ian. That's Ian's prediction, so watch out. Let's see if he's right for next week. All right, let's move on to the other one. The game taking place 9 o'clock tomorrow. By the way, you can watch all these games on Abu Dhabi, Sports TV 1 and 2, Dubai, and Sharjah, Sports TV. All right, we're moving on to Shabab Al Ahly versus Hatta, 9 o'clock tomorrow. And I know Shabab Al Ahly, and he's even got even his face mask. So if there's a little bit bias, please bear with him. Shabab Al Ahly versus Hatta.
Shabab Al Ahly tomorrow versus Hatta. Hatta not playing particularly great right now.
They're the whipping boys at the moment.
They have become the whipping boys of the league at the moment. Shabab Al Ahly, what can I say? It's my favourite team. Been following them for many years. It's one of the first teams that I really caught my eye. And for my I'm going to predict probably a 3-0 win. If Al Nassr can do it against Ajman, of course, Shabab Al Ahly should be able to pull that off.
I mean, tell us a little bit about Shabab Al Ahly. Last season, I mean,
were
they the
really,
leaders?
Truly, they should have lifted the cup last year. Last year they should have won the league. They should have won it, but due to Corona, what can you say? It was dampening for a lot of the fans, myself and a few others included.
Because they were 6 games away from winning the league for the first time. Yeah?
6 games away. They did really well, and they had the full supporters behind them. The team was doing really well. We had many clean sheets, and it's just unfortunate. We actually thought, as supporters, now we've got a expat support kind of group going. We actually thought they would have just been awarded it, but just unfortunate that it didn't go that way. We actually thought we would have been awarded the cup. But it's a bit disheartening.
Yeah, well, we'll get a little bit more information. What we're going to do each week as well, we're going to give you a little bit of history of 3 clubs each week. When were they founded, what the capacity, who owns the owner, things like that, each and every week. All right, we'll move on to the last game that's taking place tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Abu Dhabi 1. It's Corfacan versus Al Wahda. Now, Corfacan were promoted last season, and the manager's left. He's moved to Fujairah, Goran. So they have a new manager this season, but they were a team that they really struggled last season, but towards the end of the season they started playing better. Al Wahda, they've been in the Pro League for quite a long time, but they're struggling. They are struggling this season. They're not doing well at the moment. So that game to me could go either way, but Corfacan being at home, maybe win the game, but you know what? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw on that game. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, these predictions.
Yeah, but don't hold me to that. But I'm going to be commentating on that game. That's why I chose that game. So we'll see what happens next week. All right? Right, remember we said at the beginning of the show that we wanted to talk about 3 clubs. And each and every week we're going to talk about different clubs, their history, when they were founded, what have they done since they've been in the Pro League. So we're going to start off first of all with Sharjah, our champions, the champions of the Pro League before COVID-19 hit, and we're going to get Ian to talk about that. So tell us a little bit of history, a little bit of information about Sharjah.
Well, Sharjah are one of the UAE's most successful clubs, having won the Pro League 6 times, plus having
I didn't know.
8 presidential cups, 2 Super Cups. And in 2019, when they did win the league, they only lost 1 game in the entire season. So, very, very successful team, owned and run by Sheikh Sultan III. So they've got his backing. He's very vocal in the club, supports the team, goes to a lot of their games. When crowds are now back into the stadium, the capacity is 18,000. It's a lovely stadium, well looked after. It's a very, very good club. Star players, as mentioned previously, Wellington, top goal scorer, scored a hat-trick at the weekend, yesterday. I believe he's going to be up there for potentially the Golden Boot. They certainly are one of the teams to watch. Probably my tip to win the league this year.
Really? Do you think Sharjah are going to win this season? Oh, that's interesting. So there's a little bit of information about Sharjah. Now we're going to move on to Robert, who's going to give us a breakdown of
Shabab Al Ahly.
Shabab Al
Shabab Al Ahly.
Ahly. Okay,
The team that should have won last the league last season. Al Ahly literally translated means national in Arabic, and they also have 9 national players in the team, including Ahmad Khalil, Walid Abbas, and one of my favourite UAE defenders, Salmin Khamis. He's a very great defender, very strong on the ball, and he's very, I wouldn't say he's greedy on the ball, but he doesn't like losing the ball at all. Founded in 1958, Al Ahly went on to win 25 titles, 7 Club Leagues titles, 9 UAE Presidential Cup titles, 4 UAE Super Cup titles, 1 Emirati Moroccan Super Cup, and I'd probably disagree with Ian in the way he said that they are. I would say Shabab Al Ahly is probably one of the more successful clubs in the country. They merged with Al Shabab FC in 2017, and that's where the green comes now. So it's Shabab Al Ahly FC. They're playing down at Rashid Stadium, which has just gone through a 3 billion dirham refurbishment, and now it holds up to 18,000 people. It's lovely down there. The chairman is Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, and the manager is Jared Zaragoza, who came over, and he used to manage the under-21s last season, and now he's moved over to managing the first team.
Yeah, because the manager left, didn't he? When they were winning.
Yeah, he went over to. He moved over to China, and did really well. So
he went over the.
It's football, and unfortunately, I think when you get to a certain stage where you just think, well, where's my career going? I could have, would have, and then next option is.
What about this new manager? Do you think he'll do the business?
The new manager now, I'm not too sure. I mean, I believe in promoting from within.
Yeah.
Because you've been there for a while, you've seen.
Well, it's something Liverpool do.
It's something Liverpool do, and you're promoting from within, and you think to yourself, well, I would have done this differently, and because you're familiar with the players, you would have, you'd think to yourself, I would have put that person there, I would have played him, I would have rested him, and he's got that experience because he's been there, and while he was managing the under-21s, so he probably have a very good insight into how he'd like to play the teams at the moment.
Thanks for that, Robert. Definitely, I agree with everything you're saying. Okay, now we're going to move on to me. The club that I'm going to give you a little bit of history about is Al Ain. Al Ain, I disagree with both Ian and Robert. This is the team. Al Ain is the most successful team here in the UAE. I mean, that's up for debate, but they are the most famous team. In 2018, they won the Super Cup, and they actually beat Real Madrid 1-0, and that was worldwide news in 2018, and it really put Al Ain on the map. So let me give you a little bit of information. The owner is the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The location is in Abu Dhabi, Al Ain. The stadium is called Hazza bin Zayed Stadium, and it has a capacity of 25,000, and they also have hotels, and it reminds me when I've been there, a bit like Chelsea. Their manager is Pedro Emanuel. He's from Portugal. He's a new manager just been brought in, but we are struggling a little bit. They have a squad of 37 players. 7 of them play for the national team. The average age is 27. They have 10 foreigners, like most clubs here. Their worth is the highest in the Pro League. Their team is worth 18 million euros. They've won 13 league titles, 1 Asian Champions League. They've won 4 President's Cups, and they have won many, many other cups. They have famous players like Omar Abdul Rahman. They've had famous players that have come and gone. But you know what? I don't think they'll win the league this season. They've got this new manager. The defence, the first half against Fajira, looked clueless. The new signings from Fajira just tore them apart. I think they've got a lot of things to sort out, but they are a good team. Watch this space. All right, thank you very much. Okay, we've come to the end of our show. I'd like to say thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. But before we finish, I'd like to remind you, you can watch the games all in English on Abu Dhabi Sports, Dubai Sports, Sharjah Sports. We're available on quite a few different platforms, such as Fanseed. You can watch all the games or get live updates on platforms such as social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Dugout, and so on. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and we're also going to be available on a few other platforms, Ian.
Yeah, just make sure you catch us on YouTube, comment below, tell us your predictions. Who do you think is going to win? Who's going to be champions? Who's going to be relegated? Who's going to be the first manager to go? Let us know. If there's anything you want to see from us, any more information, keep us posted. We'll do the best we can for you.
Thank you. Robert,
Yeah, and
anything to say to finish off?
also, don't forget to ring the bell for your own notifications, for some insider information, some updates and behind the scenes here at the UAE Pro League. We've got it all. We're going to we're going to be giving out this information to you. I think that's our job, isn't it?
Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you in our next show when we upload it. And please, as Ian mentioned, Robert mentioned, subscribe. We'll give you all the latest information. We are commentators. We're involved in the Pro League here every week. We go to the stadiums and watch the games. We meet players, chairmen, football players, and things like that. Okay, thanks again, guys. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Robert.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.